hit all the right buttons. We are live on YouTube again. Hello, my friends. This is Avi Singh. I welcome you to another edition of Talk Power BI. Now, just to make it clear that the goal of this is not to necessarily teach per se. There is my Power BI tutorial online on YouTube, and of course, I have a complete course that I teach. This is to help you over your roadblocks because, there's a gap between learning and doing. So if you're stuck, join me here. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you're notified. And that's what this is about. So let me see who. First of all, let me say hi to all my Power BI family. Well, we got Darren and Heather. Hello to you both.
Hey, Avi.
Hello there. So Heather, how long have you been with the program?
I've been with you since the beta class.
Oh my God! Yeah, tell me. Gosh, sorry. It's grown to 300. I can't keep track of everybody now.
No, I understand.
Remind me about. Tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm the one who's working with the small company that likes to think big.
Oh yes. Yeah.
We're located in central Iowa, and we sell office products.
All right, terrific. And how have you been using Power BI?
Well, we've deployed a dashboard to one of our clients who wanted a better insight to the purchases that they were making from us. So we have built them a custom dashboard, they're calling it a dashboard. It's a custom report.
Yeah.
That is hosted on the Power BI site, and Power BI Pro licensing for us, and we have built a login for them because they didn't know how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So it's their login is really controlled by us, but and then internally we are looking at doing some reports for our sales team.
Yeah.
Right now, that's just being deployed by telling them to install the desktop software. Until we decide if we want to go further with that.
Yeah. How big is the sales team?
Our sales team is around 20 people.
And is it all employees or sometimes sales are like, they're not, they're like kind of freelancer or,
We have two that are really kind of contract basis.
Okay. All right.
And most of them are employees, and the two contractors, well, they're my Luddites. They don't really do computers.
Okay. Nice. And are they on the road or
we have some that work in offices, and we have others that do a lot of traveling. So we have both inside and outside sales.
Awesome.
And we actually have both a furniture. You put office furniture. We also do office supplies, and this is actually the office supply team. So they sell the stuff that goes on top of and inside the furniture. But we are looking at doing a deployment for the furniture team as well. We just
interesting.
Grow small.
Well, that's great.
So,
thank you so much. I'll probably come back and ask you more questions. That's great.
I've actually got a meeting with one of our guys in accounting next week to show him some of what Power BI can do. He's already found it in Excel, but his manager got to look at a dashboard I'd done or a report that I'd done, and he's like, well, I want mine to do that.
Of course. Oh,
so now I have to teach him the desktop tool and show him that, okay, this is how you can make, because of course being management, he liked the flashy, interactive, click here and everything changes type of effect.
Yes, indeed. It is magical, and and of course, sometimes I forget. I've been staring at these things for so long. Depends on the audience, right? So sometimes I'm here, but sometimes I'm with the crowd, and I'm like droning on in this bored voice, like, guys, if you click here, it's gonna cross filter, and the crowd just gasps, and I'm like, what happened? Oh, okay, they like it, right? So yeah, I mean, what is kind of mundane for me now a little bit. So frankly, that's why I kind of love kind of teaching and reaching out to new folks, because it brings that joy back again. And and when students start and they and speak of themselves in these almost kind of self-deprecating terms, where they're beating themselves down, like, oh, Avi, I'm just starting, I'm new at this. And I'm like, guys, you have no idea how envious I feel right now, because I know the journey that's in front of you. I know when I was starting out, and at every turn you find this nugget, like, whoa, you can do this. Whoa, you can do this, right? So, and I've lost that feeling, and I kind of get to relive it through you guys. But yeah, so it's great, So and certainly you're further ahead, but I'm so glad. And what you said, I want that. Oh man, I love doing that, and I love hearing about that. Just and yeah, so Power BI, I'm like, guys, I don't want to talk about it. Let me just like build something for you. So that's great. That's great that you're doing it. Awesome. I'll come back and ask you some more questions. Let me say
Oh
hi.
yeah.
Let me say hi to folks online. So hey, if you're watching online, just say hi if you haven't already. Surrender is here. Shant, hello my friend. Guy Johnson, good to see you again. Sam is here. Woohoo! The Power BI Hackathon champion. I feel so honored, guys. Yeah, so we should all feel honored. He's calling from Munich. Cool. You must be traveling. You're not based in Munich, as far as I remember. Judy says hi. First time listening live from a behavioral health company. I'm a director of QI evaluation. Very interesting. So I was in Microsoft Learning, and we had a person there, Liberty Munson. She's kind of famous because she does So, and she was a psychometrician, and man, she dealt in such heavy stuff. It was so cool. But Power BI can help in a lot of scenarios. Let's see. Pavan is here. Jen is here. Hello and welcome back, Jen. I think I've seen you around through the challenge. So good to see you here in Chicago in healthcare analytics. Quoro says hi from Chicago as well. Let me welcome Darren. So Darren, you just joined the Learn Power BI program. Tell me a bit about yourself, man. We haven't done the welcome call yet, right? Otherwise, that would be embarrassing. Like,
no, not yet. No, not yet. I think we're scheduled for next week.
Okay, awesome. But while I have you here, tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me what brought you to the Learn Power BI program. What led you to it? Led you to joining the program?
Well, the led me to the program is that I saw you guys at the summit. I sat in one of your classes and got some good information, so clearly I need to learn more about some of these things that I'm using. I've actually been using Power BI for a little while. But I of course need to know more. So the only way to learn is to take classes and then apply that information to your actual business problems to try to solve those that way. Not only do you learn a lot, but you can also help other folks and things like that as well.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, there are these two aspects to it. Learning is fine, and of course that's my course, like one half of my course, but then this is a big part, which is applying to business problems. So again, folks, if you haven't joined Talk Power BI Live, this is not the classes portion. So I have tutorials online on YouTube, and of course I have a full kind of training program. The enrollment to that just closed, but and then with my class, we have our own kind of online community where we hang out and help students over the roadblocks. And we meet Thursdays. And the Friday one is my version of trying that same for the YouTube crowd. So Darren, tell me a little bit about where you work, what kind of work that you do.
Sure. So I have a couple things. I work at AECom. I'm the manager of business systems there.
Whoa. Stop here. AECom?
Yeah, AECOM.
Yeah, is that... Where are you based?
I happen to be working in the DC area.
Okay, are they in Toronto area as well?
We are a global company. We are around the world, literally around the world.
Wow. Okay, I know somebody who works there, Vivek Patel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Vivek Patel. He actually heads the Toronto Power BI user group. And
oh sweet. Oh Vivek. Oh, that name sounds familiar. I have to check that out.
Oh, you have to connect with him. And when he presented, so he was visiting at the Power BI Summit, whatever they call it, MS BizApp Summit, and and after that, so me and Chuck Sterling from Microsoft, we're teaching at UW. So we thought, why not leverage these experts who are collected there? So we corralled Vivek and some other Power BI MVPs, and everybody kind of presented their case study. And Vivek presented AECOM. He kind of said it as AECOM anyway. So he presented that case study. So Vivek would be a great connection. So sorry I stopped you though. So keep going.
No,
so
that's
my understanding
cool. Yeah.
is
So he probably works in the commercial. He probably works in the commercial side.
Yeah.
So we have commercial and government side. I work on the government side.
And this is big construction we're talking about, right?
Yeah, on the commercial side, big construction. Think LA Rams Stadium. Think things like that. Think huge. Yeah, I mean our business. Our side of the,
he said the Toronto the tower in Toronto, Sears. Is it the Sears Tower? That's AECOM, right? I mean, gosh, yeah. So,
yeah, we're a pretty big company. AECOM is pretty big. Our side of the company, I guess, we're like I said, we're about a quarter of the company or a little bit more.
So so you said you're in the government side, right?
I work at the government side. That's right. We have a government line of business, and
Got it.
so for me, what I'm doing here particularly, they brought me in. I developed and built their contracts business management system. So when you talk about government, you think about compliance. I don't know who else is on the line, but if you work anywhere with the federal government or even state and federal, lots of compliance stuff you have to do, right? So I've created a electronic contract brief, electronic federal acquisition regulations, non-disclosure agreements, teaming agreements. You can't name them all, brother. It's a whole suite of things. I built them in Office 365. Right. So our line of business is a little over $4 billion. So contract management system for a $4 billion line of business. And then using Power BI to do a lot of the reporting and stuff. Our side of the company is just getting into this for them.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
And so it's pretty cool to be able to do that. And then, of course, I do consulting on the side as well. And I have several clients that I do part-time work for that have similar needs. Some are government, some are actually commercial clients. And I provide a bunch of different stuff. And I always try to time my about. I always push, hey, listen, let's do reporting. That's great. We should probably use Power BI because, for most of the executives, like you can get it on your phone, right? It's like while you're out and about running from meeting to meeting because, you're important people or whatever, right? Hey, at least you can pull up your phone. If you need to know, you can look at it right away.
Oh, I know. For executives, it works so well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Love that. All right, cool. Let me check in with the YouTube crowd, and again, I probably will get back to you. And yeah, so this is pretty casual. My tagline is something like no PowerPoint, nothing. I mean, yeah, I'm just here. And my joke is so my coach uses this phrase: the quality of your life is measured. Oh, wait, I'm gonna mess it up. It's like a Socrates quote or something. The quality of your life is measured by the quality of questions you ask, or something like that. And so I say the quality of this call is based on the questions you guys ask. All right, so I'll good talking to you, man. That's great. I feel so excited for you. I'm so glad to have you in the program. And again, I look forward to kind of working closely. I'll tell you my story about that of how I see that now. All right, let's see what's happening on. You know what? I kind of got started chatting up here, and hey, I have Denise here as well. Denise, hi. I'm gonna come back and talk to you as well. We haven't talked in a while, but let me check in on the YouTube crowd and let's see. What did I miss? There's a guy I'm not sure. Oh, he's so guy. If you're gonna paste the link, it's not letting you. Just remove the HTTP. And then it lets you paste it. I think I've seen others try that. Brian is here from Minneapolis, St. Paul. Awesome. Well, my sister lives there. I've been there in January, I think, and in July. And a world of difference. So my brother-in-law, he joked that there are just two seasons in Minneapolis: winter and road repair. so Brian, let me know if that's true. Anil Fazwani. Oh, actually, I just remembered. I got to ping somebody. So, guys, yesterday was an amazing experience. Let's see if that person is there. So, so you can ping me on Messenger. Just Power BI Pro. Just kind of find me there. But yesterday, where is that person? Samir. Oh, got it. Hey, brother, you joining? I'm live. Oops. All right, so I gotta share this with you guys. This was so amazing. So I don't know how to. Well, so Samir pings me. Sorry, it's not Samir. I totally Indianized it. It's Summer. Summer. That's what he said. Just like the season, Summer. So he called from Brazil, and they were having some trouble with role-level security. And he said, "Hey, Avi, are you? Can you look at something? Can I send you a screenshot?" And I said, just hop on a call with me. So we hop on a call, and I told him it's a lucky day because so yesterday was the close over class enrollment, and I said during that time I kind of make myself totally available. So yeah, we spent maybe an hour, I don't know, and yeah, the good thing was we were able to solve his problem. So yeah, so he pinged me later. So yeah, we got it. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I love being able to kind of reach out and interact with you guys. So let's see who else is on. Anil says, I'm reading a book. Sometimes I don't find the columns you refer in the book in the Access DB. That is not good. Huh. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not sure how to help with that. Judy's going to log back in. Guy, try pasting a link without HTTP. Ahmed is joining all the way from Nigeria. How are you, my friend? Ahmed, tell me a little bit about what you're doing, how you're using Power BI. And I'm going to come back. And, we got a few folks here now. And let's see. Oh, gosh, the GoToMeeting makes the windows so small. Let's see how we can... Oh, there we go. Oh, Denise doesn't have audio. I'm assuming, Denise, you mean you don't have microphone. I hope you can hear me. Okay, so Denise is saying, I would love to know what you're excited about from the Business App Summit recently. What do you think, guys? YouTube? Yeah, that's a good thing to cover, I think. Let's go talk about that a little bit. And I think I was kind of stunned how Microsoft is doing it. It's really impressive. So let's go 001804. I call it. I want to call it the Power BI Summit. So let's go here, and I wanted to show. So Power BI should October release plan features. I don't know how to find it. Yes. So I'm going to share this, and let's see if I can share a link in here, guys. So this is, I'm going to put a link here. Oh, it worked. So they have put out this whole thing, and it seems earlier they were like monthly cadence, but I like this approach. It seems they're planning 2 big launches a year, right? So they're talking about October 2018 and March 2019, like spring, fall. Frankly, I think initially, as they were innovating really quickly, that was great. But I wouldn't mind if it's frankly slowed down a bit, because I'm sure every one of you has experienced it, that it's kind of hard to keep up. Now, I would say that is misleading, because it's usually the fundamentals haven't changed in a long time. I mean, what I knew, I would say, 5 years ago is, well, I don't know. When did Power Query came along? Power Query came on later, the query editor, so that's a little different. But with DAX, what I knew 5 years ago, a bulk of that is still applicable. So focus on the core, certainly if you're starting out. And yeah, those who are inside my course or have kind of seen a preview, that's how I kind of focus on in my course. That I focus on that 20%. That's going to give you the best results. So don't feel like you have to stay caught up with everything. I'll come back here in a second here. Come on. And yeah, so right, so and a lot of it is the basics. It's hasn't changed. It's pretty rock solid. So don't feel like you have to stay up to date, but I like this new kind of flavor, October 2018, March 2019. I think my favorite feature that I'm excited about, really excited about, is I think it's called profiling. Let me see, profile. It's not here. Power BI, maybe. Power BI. I don't know how to find it. Power BI. Maybe it's in like a different section. Data integration. Shoot, business intelligence maybe. Oh god, I can't find it now. Maybe it is not called profiling. Can't and up. Gosh. So it's Power BI desktop. Composite models is of course big, but it's already in kind of preview. Composite models is huge, and that came out in the July update. So October they're doing something with it, I guess. Ad hoc exploration. I can't figure out. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, so what I'm talking about is being able to go in the query editor, and the query editor will just tell you what kind of data set you're connecting to, what columns it has, what do the columns have inside, what is a frequently occurring value, how many are nulls, how many unique values are there, right? Because you go to a new data set and you're like, well, what is it? I just want to get a sense. So that's where it helps. And if somebody can help me find that, that would be great. So I can't find it. I'll look for it again. Ahmed is saying, I'm a consultant and a Power BI trainer here in Nigeria. Awesome. I've got the MCSA BI reporting certificate without having to prepare at all for the exams. Thanks to my books. Appreciate that, Ahmed. That's great. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about certificates and such. It's kind of funny. Maybe we should talk about it a little bit quickly. So let's say 0022. So imagine, I almost want to do a survey where I would say, hey, if you had two candidates, one had a certificate and other had kind of real world experience, whom would you hire? And I think the answer is obvious. But and of course, I mean, if you can do both, that could be the golden thing and so forth. But it's odd. I feel like, yeah, I mean, education in general, I feel like has let me down so bad that I have no trust in it. I have no trust in those systems. Yeah, I mean, I was always great at school. I did so well in school. But that was almost a bad thing because the shock, my downfall, was much harder when I hit the real world. And I said, what? I mean, what is going on? None of the same rules applied. It's a totally different world. I don't think it kind of prepares you for real world. So school was kind of this step by step, like, yep, you master this, and real world is totally different. And I keep getting reminded of that when we do stuff like this. So we ran this experiment, not an experiment, but a project inside our class where we brought in a real business person, Kimberly Marie, hairstylist and business coach, and had the class develop a project for them. And it was such a simple data set. Oh my God, it was. We were joking at the beginning, like, we'll be done in 30 minutes. But it took us 5 weeks, and we had to cut down the scope. We said we're not going to do forecasting and trending because there was so much in it. And I think, so I think that real world project, something like this, something even simple, teaches you so much more than like academic. So I'm yeah. Data profiling. Ahmed is your hero today. Data profiling. Let's see if I can go find it now because it did have some. Profiling. I still can't find it. What's the deal? Power Apps. No, so I haven't done Power Apps. In fact, I would admit I don't know Power Apps. One of my students, Justina Bucks, she talks to me about it, and maybe I'll I'll learn someday. It's yeah, it's I'm sure I'll cross that bridge someday, but yeah, for now. So at some point I was getting very panicky. Power BI was evolving so fast and getting so big, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to keep up with everything. And then I realized, no, you don't. I mean, I feel it's better to kind of focus on a niche. Like, I'm going to be an expert at this rather than, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of everything. At least that's kind of my take. So I'm right now, at least, I'm really like Power BI modeling. That's right. I mean, I wanna connect to your data sources, clean shape transform, bring them in. I mean, pretty much what I teach in my course, right? So the user query editor piece, that's the kitchen, and then set up the relationships and define DAX. And I think visuals is the easy part if you do it right. Visuals, if anything, I focus more on like the best principles. So I try to learn from and try to teach stuff like from Stephen Few, information dashboard design, kind of best principles. Cool. Oh boy, so lots of good stuff. Data integration. Ahmed, what would I do without you, my friend? So data integration here, and yes. And profile. Woohoo! So guys, look at this. So as an MVP, we had seen this some time ago. And of course, they had shown us a little bit more of the demo. But you can see here, let's see if it has... Oh, the syntax thing is coming, which is going to be awesome. It's funny because Miguel Lopez, the Power Query guy in Microsoft, he has been showing this for so long in conferences. So, I mean, he showed this like a year ago, and I would ask him, like, hey, where's it coming? And I can imagine in a big team, it's hard to kind of prioritize stuff and kind of push it in. Everything needs to be tested. So this is good, although I do 98% of my work outside of the advanced editor. So it's but maybe this will change it. Maybe I'll venture more in the advanced editor. Usually I just click buttons around, and I love that. So yeah, so this is data profiling, kind of like a weird screenshot. I mean, it's not like high res. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. But you can see, you can just connect to a data set and learn a lot about it. You can say, oh, look at this. So it's like 91 unique values. So this is how I would read it, right? So stuff that has less number of distinct values, like this one has 12 distinct values or something like that, those would be great for kind of slicing, dicing, right? If something has like 1,000 distinct values, and I mean, you're probably going to show it in a table. So it really helps ground you in the new data set you're looking at. So it shows that to you, shows the distribution, right? So how many times does so in this one, they're equally distributed across those unique values. In this one, there's some values which are more than others, right? So really rich, and I think a pretty nifty way. And then I think you select a column over here, and then it shows you about that column. So distinct count, unique count. How is that two different? I can't wrap my head around it right now. Distinct count and unique count. I can't think of it. I don't know. Data completeness, like how many are nulls and so forth. Uniqueness, value distribution, length distribution, right? So yeah, really cool. Stepping into a new data set, it's going to orient you much quicker. So Ahmed, thanks for that. Okay, so Magma running. We're going to come back to DAX questions. Let's go. Yeah, so folks, on composite models, Steve's asking about that. I did post a video on July update, and it's big, but I feel it's missing. I'm still waiting for the next big step in composite models, and I'll talk about that maybe. But let's come back to our program. This is not me yakking away, but yeah, I wanna help you with so the format, folks, is we take one question from folks on the phone, and then I try to pick one from the YouTube chat. And so yeah, so on the phone, who is here right now? So Darren, Denise, Eamon, Heather, and Steve. If anybody has a question on the phone, go ahead and ask. Steve, if you want to talk about composite models, I would love to. Good to have you here.
If it's appropriate for the group,
All right. Yeah, let's talk
maybe
about
that
it.
was what you were looking for before.
Cool. Let's see. Where do I go here? So go da da da, and 30, 26. So yeah, I mean, so this is the video I posted, and I'm like, well, kind of a tongue-in-cheek title, but well, end the fighting. ID in business and composite models are here. So that's the vision, but I think they're one step away. So what composite models let you do is they let you have a model where a part of it is coming from IT. So this is coming from kind of IT, and this you're using direct query. So because you don't want to bring all that in, import is kind of an expensive operation, especially if somebody in IT has built out like a whole warehouse. And then you can combine it with your own data set. So this one is kind of for the business user, and this can be anything. This can be Excel files sitting on their machine, or this could be I don't know, something they pull off the web or Wikipedia, some third party, doesn't matter, and they can combine those two. So if you think about it, it's a win-win for both IT and business. How does business win? Because earlier, what was the model? If business wanted something, they would send a request to IT. And what would IT do? They would add it to their backlog. Didn't you love that word? When we heard that, like, oh gosh, probably lit you up. Like, yes, I made it to the backlog. No, everybody hated it, right? So so IT added you to a backlog, and then if you made the cut or not, this release, next release, and you just kind of waited. Now you don't have to wait. You can use your IT infrastructure and combine it with your own business data. So they win. How does IT win? Well, if you think about it, the life in IT, or the central system team, business intelligence unit, whatever you call it, right? The guys who are the central authority of managing these warehouses and such, or just churning out reports for the group. Well, their life is really hard, really, really hard, because business sees that, oh my gosh, I asked for this thing, and they're going to take 3 months. Well, this is the view of the world from IT side. It's like business is nonstop. I mean, they ask me thousands of things, right? It's never ending, and the worst part is that I can't even tell if 5 of them are being used, right? So it's hard to say. I mean, I'll kill myself trying to serve them, but then it doesn't get used. So how did IT win? Well, now they don't have to chase down those 1,000 things and manage that crazy backlog. They only focus on the winners, kind of like a marketplace. They let the marketplace decide what is important. So the way it's going to work is that they would just monitor. Well, for one part, I mean, obviously they'll do some proactive work, but in general, they can monitor this world and see what's going on. What is the data set that people keep combining, or if somebody has combined, is seeing heavy usage? And maybe there will be 1,000 such experiments. Most of them may fail, may not get used, may not live beyond 5 days or 5 months or whatever. But they would see some of them. It's like, oh my, this is relevant. This is important for the business. Somebody did it and it's being used. So they pick the winners, and now they're doing really focused work, and it's not throwaway. It's valuable. They already know it's valuable. So I think it's huge. But Steve, the step I'm still waiting for is that right now composite models, you can do it with like SQL database, but I also wanted to work with like tabular. So that's what's missing, and I hope that's coming soon. So that's kind of my take on composite models. Did that make sense? Did that give you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, terrific.
Good. Thank you.
All right, let's go to YouTube, and the last comment is the magma running. love you guys handles there. So let's see. I had some trouble. What happened here? Let's see what you have to ask. The magma running is asking weighted average DAX based on condition. Ah, okay. Got it. So you're saying a weighted average based on a condition. If all regions are selected, use weighted average. Else use a simple average. Okay, let's. This is a good one. I like it. And so hey, I'm just gonna. Can I call you Magma or type in your name? Well, Magma, stay with me here because I'm gonna need you. So what we're gonna do is let's say we have territory. So you said region. So territory, AdventureWorks. I've always been surprised that a lot of times on YouTube or through my students, they ask a question, and I'm surprised by how many times I'm almost able to translate it to the AdventureWorks data. but yeah, so we have we have region here. So let's do. Oh gosh, how do I? Let's try this. Let's do. Okay, let's do this. So I'm gonna build something quick. If you happen to have like a sample file which you can share through OneDrive or something like that, that may speed things up. But if not, that's I'll have to take some time to kind of build it really quick. So yeah, if you have a file, then ping me. Okay, cool. Let's go here. So again, guys, the problem we're working on is that weighted average based on the condition. If all regions are selected, use weighted average, else use a simple average. I'm thinking, so this is the approach that I'm thinking, that first define a measure which is average, right? You have that. Actually, I'm not sure if you need me to walk through that. So what if I give you this answer, and then if you're like, oh yeah, we got it, then we're good. Otherwise, I'll try to kind of recreate it on my side or use a file if you send it. Okay, so Magma is Abhishek from Bangalore. Awesome. So, okay, hey, yeah, you're not. Well, there is an Abhishek who just joined my course from CA, I think. If you are that Abhishek, then know that you can call in as well. And that is should have been sent an email, but yeah, students kind of have their own link to kind of call in and share screen and all that stuff. So if you are that Abhishek, then call in. But so Abhishek, let me give you this answer. So you define one measure which is average, and the other one is weighted average, and then you, I don't know, final average or something like that. And then you just check if something is selected, right? If all regions are selected. Okay, got it. If is filtered or is cross filtered, I'll let you decide. Is cross filtered, and I don't know, whatever your thing is. So if there's any filter on region, if there's any filter there, then you're saying use weighted average, else use the simple average. What do you think? All right, so let me know if that helps. Okay, different one, no worries. So say Abhishek, let me know what you think about this. I'm sure you have been able to define a measure which defines average, a measure which defines a weighted average, but for your condition one, you just say, oh well, if a region is selected, so if there's selected, filtered, same thing, Okay, cool. Awesome. That worked. All right, let's hit back on the phone again if you guys have any questions. Okay. Head. Let's see. Is that on? All right. So, Heather, I wanted, if you're still on,
Yep, I'm still here.
tell me. I wanted to ask you about if there are any immediate projects you're working on, like.
Well, I'm working on, and that I actually kind of was doing it during the 5-day challenge. I'm working on our dashboard for our sales team.
Okay.
Or I keep calling it a dashboard. It's a report. But the rest of them think it's a dashboard because it's got pretty, moving bits.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I keep trying to reteach them, and instead they're retraining me.
Yeah. I don't know. I side with them on this. I think Power BI kind of hijacked these terms.
I agree.
It's so I follow Stephen Few, and his definition is dashboard is pretty simple. It's like something that fits on a screen, gives you information, and the Power BI report is definitely a dashboard by that definition. So yeah, I think they kind of hijacked it. So yeah, that's good. That's fine, I guess. So for the sales team, and where is the data coming from? I imagine you have some kind yeah.
Yeah, it's coming from our ERP, our back-end system. But I am actually, the data, I can't seem to get that connection to work directly.
Ooh.
So rather than directly connecting to the database, I have a series of Excel files that are pulled out using another reporting system that we have. And then those are saved on the computer, which is not the best solution, and I know that. Yeah. I'm sure you're shaking your head already.
Well, this is reality, though. I mean, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can't really.
So
shake my hand
basically,
because,
I've pulled the data I need, rather than connecting to the entire data set, which is, it does simplify that a bit because I know what I'm looking at.
Okay.
As opposed to all this weird stuff that I don't need. And then it's just hosted on our internal system, all the Excel files, and I connect to those.
Yeah.
And the idea was to be able to show them a more flexible method of looking at their sales and the products that we're selling the best and the worst. The customers and how they're performing within those products, things like that. Yeah. We're actually kind of looking at it by sales category. So is it is it paper, copy paper for the printers? Is it toner for the machines? Is it just general office supplies, the pens, the paper clips, all that kind of stuff? Yeah. And so we've got broad categories, and then it kind of reports within that. I was really pleased with myself when I figured out how to use the switch function.
Okay.
So I have the ability to show anything. I've got top 5, top 10, top 20, top 30, and then I've got bottom in each of those. Oh, and on top of that, I can rank those by either the sales, the profit, or even the number of invoices. So it was a complicated bit of fiddling to get all the Lego blocks together to do that. But
so tell me, what are the different ways you can rank them? Sales and I don't know. I mean, I have my guesses, but yeah.
Well, I've actually got 4, and one of them I think is kind of unnecessary, but it was requested.
Okay.
It's sales dollars, margin dollars, so the profit, the gross profit percentage, and the number of invoices.
Okay, one other thing that I remember building for one of my clients, and could be a good one, and it seems you guys would have long-term customers, would be kind of year-over-year change in dollars and percentage.
And that is something that I want to do. I don't know if it's going to be part of this or part of a different.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a different group of people that are looking at that. The salespeople are looking at the here and now, the today.
Yeah, but
whereas it's management that tends to.
Yeah, but I'm thinking. So this was a company that sold mostly greeting cards and such, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for them, it was essentially they were focused on customers who had dropped year over year because they wanted to go talk to them and said, "Hey,
right,
how come you didn't order this year?" Right? So, or something like that, right? So I think I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can kind of maybe suggest it to them. Suggested to them that way that, hey, what if we showed you folks who have the biggest drops, and you can, would it make sense to kind of focus on them and reach out to them and see if you can recover some of that business or something?
Right.
Pretty cool.
Well, and that is something I want to do. That I also want to look at the items that change too much. If we change the pricing on something, do we lose too much of the sales? Things like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite gotten my head wrapped around that. I need to wrap this project up because I've got specific individuals asking for it. So this one needs to be finalized.
Great. So I know this one is kind of focused on the sales team, but if you kind of maybe build something kind of for the management, a report that I had built under the guidance of this finance guy. I didn't know, but I think I call it the Fry. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, there we go. Man, this was so simple and so stunning.
I loved that one.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I think let's see, I think I did put like a screenshot. Did I put a screenshot of the actual? I think I office. Yeah, so this. It painted such a picture of exactly what was happening. So hey, to catch up for others who are listening, and I'm trying to remember. So Apurva was the Microsoft Finance guy who explained it to me, and he said, "Avi, it's really simple. How you can make more money. So either you reach more customers, right? So imagine you had 100 customers, and you say, oh, now we have 200 customers, right? So, or you have them come in and buy with you more often. So earlier they were buying once a month, now they're buying twice a month. Or you don't change either of those. 100 customers still coming once a month, but now they're spending more, right? So now earlier they were spending $10, now they're spending $20. And of course, all three can change, right? I mean, but I think, yeah, I mean, to see that for a company and to see that over time, especially long span of time, you can, a lot of times it just paints the story of what they had done. I mean, like, oh, they'd really focused on growing reach and all that and something like that, but lowered their prices to increase reach or something. Yeah, I love that one. So if you haven't tried
that one's on my list. I've actually got a small batch of links that I have saved for building, because I do have a management tool in mind. I figure if I can sell them on it, maybe we can get more people on pro licensing here.
All right, sweet, cool, terrific, and of course, well, yeah, if you need any help, you know where to find me. Yeah,
always.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So you've been with me through the beta. So guys, I kicked it off, I think, in February. So that's great. Thanks, Heather, and for being one of the founding members. That's great. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. Thanks for tagging along. Terrific.
Yes, it has.
So glad to hear from you. All right, folks. So yeah, on the phone, if there's anything, just speak up. Otherwise, I will. Yeah. So Sam is saying loved Fry, frequency reach yield. And Abhishek has. Oh, so Jen, is that a question? Or is that a statement? It seems you're struggling with it. Okay, let me ask. Let's go with Jen. So invoice total balance. Let's go with that. So, man. So guys, I am going to the AFP conference in November. AFP. This is the first time, like the only conference I've spoken to are either kind of SQL Pass, BA, that one, and the Power BI Summit, which keeps changing its name, Data Insight Summit, MS BizApp Summit. This is the first time I'm going to something here, something like different. Like this is not the Power BI crowd. This is, well, I hope some of them do use Power BI. So I'm excited about that. I think I'm on Monday. Let's see. Or maybe not. I'll have to find myself. Monday, 1:45. Yeah, that's me. So yeah, there, and I'm presenting it with one of my students in the course, Michael. So we're excited about this. But a part of me is thinking that maybe focus more on finance. So Jen, yours certainly caught my attention. Let's see, 005137. And let's see if we can talk. So we tried this out in the challenge. So this will be a little bit weird because I think the students who are on the phone, they might not be able to hear you. But heck, let's just try it. How do I say this? Okay, so Jen, are you at a computer? Would you be able to join? Custom visuals, SK can be free or paid. I would say generally they are free, and some of them. So Jen, let's try it. Ooh. Invoice total balance is not correct. Interesting. Jen, are you on?
I am.
Awesome. So tell me a bit about yourself.
I am.
Tell me a bit about yourself.
I am.
Oh, well, there's a bit of an
Yep,
echo.
I think I got it.
Okay, cool.
Well, I started out in healthcare operations and did that ad nauseum for about 20 plus years.
Okay.
I went up the ranks to an executive vice president position fairly quickly.
Okay.
And found myself going home at night and running the reports that my directors should be running because I had too much fun doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I had an opportunity, my husband's business was going really well. I decided to become a full-time data analyst.
All right.
So
exciting.
went to SQL classes, just started switching my focus. And right now I am working for a healthcare billing company.
Okay.
And I am the only one doing Power BI. Healthcare notoriously does not have very good informatics. So I have to pull a lot of data from a lot of different systems and a lot of different formats.
Indeed. sounds so familiar, and there's a need for that because there are so many regulation requirements which require you, which necessitate that, right? I mean, some of that is like, and so yeah, you need a lot of kind of data crunching for generating these reports, and at the same time, a lot of it is very fractured. So yep, sounds quite familiar with the other folks that I've spoken in healthcare. So when I left Microsoft, and I went on kind of the road training at companies, I was kind of surprised initially. A lot of my first engagements were healthcare companies. I remember Primera right here in Seattle, and then there was, I think, this Kettering and one other that I forget. And I was like, whoa. But once I found out what's going on in the industry, it made sense because they have this dire need due to the regulations and all that such to understand their data, but it's very complex. So tell me a bit about the problem that you have. So it seems like you're working with finance data. So anyway, so in our class, when somebody is kind of sharing a problem, either they share like screenshots, that's the safest way. I usually do want to look at the relationship view, so that's what I would ask. So if I have you share your screen, can you do that kind of safely? I don't want you to get in any trouble.
I appreciate that. Hold on, let me take a quick look at it.
Okay, yeah, if you have multiple screens, that kind of makes it easy. You can say, I'm going to share this screen, and then you can only put like screenshots or something there, and we can see how that works.
You know what? This does not have any PHI on there, so I think we're good.
All right, cool. Let's actually, I don't know. Do you see a share screen button? I don't know. Let's see, share. Yeah, hit that share screen. Green. It should be like a green share screen button.
Green share screen button. Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's.
And yeah, just to warn you, I will put it up on YouTube since we are on YouTube. So.
Okay.
All right. We can see it. Yeah, I'm looking at the Zoom thing right now.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah. So show me the relationship view. That's pretty much, I mean, when I was starting to work out.
Super basic.
Okay, cool. Do me a favor, though. Move anything which is, I think it's only the calendar table. That's the only lookup table. So yeah, I'm so
I know
fixated.
you're about
I can't even think, without that. So if you can arrange it that way, thank you so much. Yep. Yeah. So I noticed that these are hidden. So I assume you're not using them.
This is irrelevant.
Okay, cool. Yep,
for this project,
perfect.
I just have it linked in for later.
Okay, got it. So.
And the relationships are based on service date. I'm hoping that, wait, let me double check about the, nope, you can't see that. Sorry, there's PHI in there. But basically it is linked on service date.
Okay, got it. And show me what's not working. It did seem a little odd the way you put it, that it works.
Well, let me explain to you why. Basically, this is a project in which our company needs to collect money on services rendered before a certain date. So it's basically aged AR. So there's a certain bucket of dollars they want to collect.
Got it.
So that's why service data is driving this data. So this is what's not working. Now, I had a whole report here, but I kind of stripped it down because I was working with my boss who was working in Excel on the exact same data. And we started to realize that we weren't balancing. And when I went into, again, this doesn't have patient data, but it does have invoice balance. So basically what this has is detail at a line item, right? So what I did initially was I pulled in just the voucher balance.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I don't want any credits. So I did greater than 0 for the balances. I got rid of an insurance name, which is, just kind of basic stuff. This should be a pretty basic report, I thought.
Uh-huh. All right.
But see how the number is 3795 and that didn't balance. And I thought, well, what the heck's going on here?
Uh-huh.
Then when I put in a voucher number, whoops, and then I don't want to summarize, right? Now it's 4007.
Okay, got it. Yeah, definitely looks curious. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. So is voucher balance a measure? No, it's just a column.
Comes off
Ooh.
of a big file of aged balances.
So voucher balance is from there, voucher number is from there, and well, what if you just put voucher balance by itself? What does it say? So just drag it on and put it like in a separate.
Oh, just by itself, just by itself.
Yeah. So keep that that
Keep
visual.
it the way it is. Okay.
And yeah, do a new one where yep, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't have any of the constraints on it, under the filters.
Okay, got it. Let's while we're at it, let's set those as page filters. That'll make things easier. So the same filters you had over there. Yeah, you would just have to redo them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I wish there was a way to.
Can I just move these down? No.
I wish there was an option. I don't think you can. You can try it. I don't know. I don't think it lets
Aww.
you. Yeah.
That stinks.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not comfortable doing that
Okay,
only
cool.
because
All right,
the filters have delicate stuff.
Let's see. So you had the filter. So are all the fields coming from one table, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm a little stumped.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I told my boss I'd blame it on the upgrade from Microsoft that happened earlier this week.
So you're saying current insurance name is not this. If you add the voucher number, voucher balance. Huh. Okay. Voucher balance. Balance. Oh, yeah, I have make it a measure. So I'm reading the comments on the internet. I don't think that's gonna make a difference. Let's try it. So let's can you go to modeling, new measure, and just say define a new one with like sum of voucher balance. You can call it whatever you want. Yeah, so my theory is that that's not gonna make a difference, but let's see. Let's try it. So yeah, just do sum of that voucher balance field. And just type in voucher balance. You don't have to type the table name. Just type voucher balance and yep, yeah, there we go.
Taught me well.
And yeah, just make sure you pick the right one from the same table. Whichever you're using in the table that's already there.
That's it.
Okay, cool. And add that in that table. Yeah, I didn't think that would make a difference. Oh, wait. So let's do one other thing. Let's do another measure. So we'll say new measure on a voucher balance V2 or something like that. Yep. Okay. And let's say calculate, and calculate and do square bracket and say sum voucher, and it should autofill. Yep, take that one. Yeah, you can also hit tab, comma, and and let's say voucher balance greater than 0.
Oh, okay.
Let's complete
Good.
that. Let's try that. Yeah. Yeah. And what if we take voucher number off? Or make a copy of that so we can keep seeing this. It's almost unbelievable, right? I mean, the way it works.
I know, right?
So yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I can do control. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And
Okay.
let's just take the
And then you
voucher
want me to get
number
rid of the
out.
voucher
Yeah.
number out? Now, ooh, wait. Oh, that's kind of
Oh man, this is awesome stuff. I'm so excited. So yesterday I was talking about the folks in Brazil we're working with, Summer, and they had a problem, and they were like, oh, it's not working. It's doing this, and we tried it, and it wasn't what they thought it was. So I said, guys, this is like playing Sherlock, you know. So there was a murder committed, and there was a pair of high heels found. So we were thinking it's a lady who killed the poor guy. But it's not. It was just a ruse. It was planted, right? So we were looking in the wrong place. So yeah, everything is a clue. So now we have a clue, right? We have a clue. We have two things which are behaving differently. So the question is, which is the damn right number? Which is the right number? So I can't think right now. Which one? Do you know which one is the right number? The 4 million. 4 million is the right number.
correct.
4 million is the right number. The 3795 isn't. But why is it behaving that way? I have a theory. It sounds kind of bizarre, but it may be true. So click on that, the bottom visual. And so what the last one is doing, which is returning us the correct result, 4 million, is that it's going row by row in our data set and saying voucher balance has to be greater than 0, right? Row by row in our data set. But the other two, that's not what they're doing. They're going through this table. That's what my theory is. And frankly, it seems kind of mind-bending, but I think they're not going through the underlying table. They're just going through the table which is being shown here and then saying, oh, I'm not going to show the rows where voucher balance is greater than 0. Do you see the difference there?
Yeah, is that kind of like the concept like sum x? Is that kind of the same
kind of
thinking?
Yeah, yes, possibly, right? So that's what it's doing. Now, of course, if you really wanted to test it, what I would do is that in the visual, so you don't have to do this right now. I don't know if that would, so what kind of data that would show, but if you were to test it, like if that's what we think, so that's our hypothesis, right? And we want to test it, then I would remove the visual level filter, voucher balance is greater than 0, and then now it's going to show both positive and negative items, and I would export that data just as it's shown, just with the voucher balance facility code. That's it, right? And now it's got both positive and negative, and then in Excel, if you sum up only the positive rows, so the facility code with the voucher balance greater than 0, my theory is that that's going to add up to 3795, right? So feels like that's a difference between these two. That when you say voucher balance greater than 0, it's saying, oh, you're trying to show it by facility, so I'm going to remove the facilities where voucher balance, I'm going to only keep the facilities which voucher balance greater than 0. That's what it's effectively doing. And when you add voucher number, what is the table showing? So now it runs through the logic and it's saying, oh, you're showing facility and voucher number, and I'm only going to keep those facility and those voucher number where the voucher balance is 0. So that's how it's working. It's kind of like a
Mm.
very literally a visual filter. It goes by what is being shown right there, but that's not what you need. You need what Calculate is doing, which is saying, no, dude, just
No.
don't, just go to the data set, and if it's
I
negative,
know.
don't worry about it. Oh my God, that was such a
Weird.
rush, but simple in a way. I'm not convinced that's very. Is that intuitive? I don't know. In this case, it wasn't. But yeah, I have mixed feelings about this. Like, is it like right now it feels like this is a bug, and like we should be knocking on Microsoft doors like, guys, what is this? But
Yeah.
maybe it makes sense if you're not stuck here in this one. Anyway, all right, cool. So
right.
do you feel like you're set here? You're
Yeah.
gonna be, okay, awesome. All
Very
right, Jen,
good. Thank you.
good talking to you. Take care.
You too.
All right, guys, that was kind of epic. That's great. Let's check in on the folks on the phone. And I apologize. You probably couldn't hear Jan. So you heard a one-way conversation. I apologize for that. But yeah, if you have anything, yeah. So Heather, sorry about that. Yeah, that I had her call in, but I know that audio only comes in one way.
Oh, just letting you know, not a problem.
Yeah. All right. So on the phone. If you have something, go ahead.
Avi?
Hey.
Avi? Yeah, g'day, it's Eamon. Hello.
Hi there.
G'day. Avi, a quick one, a couple of really quick observations. You mentioned something last week, which is, I just wanted to mention it again because it was so important. You know what you were saying with dashboards, that less is more?
Indeed.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so true. Like I was attempting to put a lot of data onto one dashboard,
Yes.
and when you step back and think, hang on a second, look, we really only need like 3 or 4 visuals here. We
Yeah.
don't need to include the kitchen sink. It
Yes.
does make everything a lot
Yeah.
more comprehensible from a user perspective. That was just an aside, but I just it's something I wanted to reiterate because you mentioned it last week. But a question for you, and it's this, is again on dashboards, is I'm always personally at a loss to whether I should. I try to maximize using charts and minimize using tables and matrices. Okay.
Yeah.
Simply because certainly this is my view on it, and I just wanted your view. Is that, well, if it is a chart, then I can encourage the user to click on the focus mode and pull up both the chart and get into mostly the data, depending on what I've put in. If I've put in a measure, or indeed the underlying implicit measure, then they can get right into the data. Now, normally it's just a measure and everything else is hidden. So my question is do you tend to maximize more on the charting side of things with minimal tables and matrices, or is it kind of like 50-50 for you?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, or am I like sort of confused?
No, that's a great question. All right, I'm gonna spend just a minute on this. The first part that you said, with less is more, and the question is then, why do we see a lot of dashboards and reports which are like field crammed? And I think that's the same symptom, which it's the same exact thing. What we do with our lives. Gosh, I didn't realize I'm going to get that philosophical. But so what do we do with our lives is that we're so busy, aren't we? We're so goddamn busy. It's non-stop. It's relentless. Long list of to-do, post-its everywhere, and hey, I'm the same, right? So, and why is that? I think that's either a form of laziness or fear. I think it's more fear than laziness. I mean, yeah, people are not inherently lazy. They do want to do the right thing, but they're afraid, you know? So when we cram our dashboards and reports, we're afraid we're going to leave out that important thing. We're afraid that, you know, the boss or the client is going to say, oh, you don't have that in there, or something like that, right? And the same thing with when when we cram our lives the same way. Oh gosh, cram our lives. Yeah, we're afraid we're gonna miss out, that FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. But of course we end up doing the wrong thing, because the answer in both those cases is less is more, right? I don't need to learn all of Power BI. I mean, I used to get embarrassed when people would ask me about Power Apps and Flow and whatnot, and now I just shrug my shoulders like, that, I don't know. You know, ask one of my students, you know, Justina does it, something like that, right? So yeah, it's okay to focus on less, and yeah, so it takes a lot more discipline, and I think courage. It does take courage to put less on there, and when the client asks, then be able to stand up for it and explain that, well, yeah, you know, this is the reasoning why I did it this way. I want you to start off here. If you really we need more, we can add in more. No worries. It's easy to, yeah, you know. So why we do that? So I'm gonna channel the only information dashboard design guru I have, Stephen Few. So yeah, he does say less is more. He does say pixel economy. So guys on the phone, you should absolutely read Stephen Few. Of course, I kind of summarize his learning in the visualization section inside my course. But what he's talking about is pixel economy. Is such a beautiful concept that every pixel should be communicating data in some way, right? Should be telling users about the data, about its distribution, about its actual value, and anything else which is non-data, which is, I have a glaring bad example here, like this is not data. So this should be de-emphasized. So I'm embarrassed. This should belong in a, yeah, this top corner is very important. So screen is like real estate. So yeah, so that's the idea there. But then of course he talks about kind of the right visual for the right need. And I think when you need table and matrix, you cannot replace them. And of course they give you that absolute value. So you have to kind of decide that when is that absolute value needed. And yeah, so I would love to hear kind of specifically about the dashboards kind of you build. I tend to, you know, move, you know, focus more on kind of the finance side and stuff. So of course, kind of sales budget. So there is a mistake here that the precision is wrong. And Stephen Fee talks about this as well. So imagine if I was showing like 6 decimal places, that would clearly be bad. But even here, nobody shows 16 million as this. They show it as 16.4 M. So there's it's slightly off. But I know in finance they would need to know that number. There we go. Yeah, something like that. So you can't kind of graph that. And the idea that they would go into focus mode and see the numbers, it isn't very effective, because another thing that Stephen Fee talks about is that everything important should be on the same screen, because surprisingly we're not able to retain that much information, you know, so we only retain very few pieces. So you're trying to show them in one piece so people can make the connection. And actually I do need to redo this. This is kind of a bad example. Typically you would have something like this, where you would say, oh, here's our trend, and but here's kind of the variance. So you can see here that or you know, like sales was climbing. You can see the upward trend, but you can kind of see it a little bit in the graph that, yeah, we were falling short. But then this graph is very stark, right? I mean, it really paints a stark picture. Like, no, I mean, you kind of jumped the shark somewhere here and things went south. So oh gosh, what was I saying? So oh yeah, I got it. So it needs to be on the same page. You completely lose that when you go into focus mode, because now everything is blocked. You're not seeing anything, and you can see the number, but you cannot see it in relation with everything else. And that's the whole idea of the dashboard, that you see it together.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can kind of lean on that. I mean, it's good to have it, sure. I use focus mode, but not for the. So tell me a bit about your data, and maybe you tell me, gosh, do you see cases where tables and matrix would just make more sense?
So this is Darren. Eamon, can I say something too?
Yes, you can.
Just to kind of go in with that. So this is Darren. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I believe too that when you're it depends on your audience, because your audience is super important and how they need to see the data. So when I work with senior executives, they're looking for the charts, big numbers. They don't need to know down to the nets. Nets, but what exactly that penny is. That's not what they're worried about, right? They're thinking strategically, big picture type stuff. So big graphics with numbers, with, hey, when working with them, you start to find out, hey, if you click here, it takes you to the report that relates directly to that. I might have a ton of reports underneath there, and depending on what you click, takes you to a very specific item or whatever that they're looking for, right? All the way down to, and I have different kinds of dashboards and reports for the audience. Right. So if I am the VP of IT and I'm looking at trouble tickets, I want to see a very specific thing. Show me trouble tickets over time, right? And show me group it by help desk, right? I want to know who's busy, who's not, and by category or something like that. Right. That's it's a very simple example, right? Versus I am the director of IT with those folks. I want to see very different things. Time spent with the client, application that it was associated with. There's very different things that I want to see. So I end up typically creating different kinds of dashboards for that overview, and then different reports, all based on the same data, of course, the same data sets and stuff like that, making it down there. So for me, of course, real estate's super important. Charts to me are better than text, but audience first. What do they want to see? And your audience grows and changes as you start to do this. They start to ask for more stuff, right? Hey, Darren, I noticed this. I really kind of need to see it like that, or can you put it into like a progressive chart or something? I need something. I need a line, or So you really start to work with your audience and what they want to see. Your first time around, I always caveat, hey, this is version 1. We're getting a feel for how you need to see your data to do your job the most effective way, and I start that way, and then it always ends up being over time, right? That we end up with less is more, right? Because they get comfortable with how it works, what the data is, and they actually become more knowledgeable about that information. So they start to need less data because they have faith in the graphics that they're seeing about the data, if that makes sense.
Wow, man. The last one was deep. As they become more knowledgeable, they need less data. I'll have to sleep on that one.
Well, think about it. Think about it. Depending on the leader or the person you're trying to achieve, right? So if you're down and you're working at the tactical level, so to speak, right? That means I'm in it day-to-day fisticuffs, right? I don't know. I don't see above that. I don't see the strategic plan. I don't see the strategic need. I'm fighting today's battles.
Yeah.
As I start to get up a little bit higher, right? Operational type stuff. Hey, I need to see a little bit more. I need to understand trends that are kind of going. I start getting the strategic. Where are we going as an organization? Where are we going as a company? How am I supporting the overall mission and goals of the company?
Yeah.
My needs are very, very different at all those levels.
Okay. So Darren, you're picking up raving fans online. Abhishek agrees with you. So Eamon, what are you thinking right now? Tell us about your data set. How do you, what kind of numbers, metrics you have? What kind of audience you have?
Avi, was that for me? I'm sorry.
Yes.
That was for me. Yeah. A bit like yourself, it's much more of a finance focus.
Okay.
And I suppose just a couple of things that came from both yourself and Darren. I think, Darren, you hit it right in the head in terms of, what does your audience want? And you may have a number of audiences within the same business that require essentially different cuts of the information based on the same data set. Okay, and that makes total sense. And it's good that you just sort of raise it and sort of emphasize it. As well, though, given that my focus is largely on the finance side of things, it's almost like seeing a dashboard, like the dashboard that you had up, Avi, with you had the 4 visuals and the numbers. When I present I'm calling it a dashboard. It isn't, technically it's a bloody report and there's a tab within the report. But if I don't have numbers in it, assuming that they're required, almost like it feels naked from a finance perspective, because and maybe that's just the way I think, is that it's great to have all the charts, but without a little bit of a couple of numbers that I can sort of quickly delve into very quickly and aggressively, it feels like it's kind of a little bit naked. But I have to marry that with what Darren said. It's kind of horses for courses.
Yeah, that's true. I'll bring up, let's see if I can, the finance dashboard that I had, and it's just like a dummy one, but it's kind of close to the real thing, and it's doesn't have that many charts and graphs at all. So yeah, I've built stuff for finance where the audience doesn't need. The only thought that was crossing my mind, though, as you guys were discussing this, was that I have grown a little wary of this one. So I would make like a small distinction of, instead of what does the audience want, what do they need? Because I have gotten into a lot of trouble where I had the customer, internal or external, doesn't matter, right? When they were directing kind of the report, or say, I want to see this, I want to see that, I want to see this, and I was like, yep, can do, and I'll put it, and it would be a nightmare. And so usually after that, the kind of the lesson learned the hard way, but I stopped kind of asking. Now I was just kind of take the requirements, and I'll say, don't worry about the visual, I'll put something together. And the V1 I put together. I didn't ask them anything, so I gave them the V1 based on and then I did let them kind of innovate on that. So I don't know what happened here. These were supposed to be like green markers and such. So gosh, let's see. It's you can see pretty these are my KPIs. So it was pretty number heavy. Let's look at the last one. That's kind of the final result of that. And a little bit more graphs, but I mean, and it worked for them. So it was something like this. All right, cool.
Avi, thanks for that.
Yeah,
thank you.
Go ahead.
If I can suggest,
yes,
I actually had one, the client dashboard that we built. My manager came to me and he said, I need these things to have pie charts, which I instinctively shudder at, but I did. And then the client came back and said, I love the pie charts, but her manager needed to see bar charts for the same data. So I know you're not a fan of bookmarks, but I made both charts and put a bookmark that I connected to a button. And allow them to switch. They just flip back and forth. Do I want to see the bar charts? Do I want to see the pie charts?
But I'll say, did you try to have a little bit of a conversation with them, saying, hey guys, I mean, bar chart shows the same thing and it's actually more effective?
Not with this particular client, no.
And I totally
have
get
that
it.
Conversation.
I mean, I get it. And hey, that's the reality. I mean, I've read the whole book, and I know Steam View talks about pie charts, but I use pie charts all the time. I mean, depending on the client
and
I'm working
honestly,
with.
it was only showing 2 values. So it really didn't make the
and you probably labeled it, right? I mean, did you add the labels on there? Right.
There were percentage labels on it. But she just understood that every time she does something that has a pie chart, her boss makes her go back and get a bar chart. So that was her level of understanding. And so she said, I have to have bar charts, but I want to keep the pie charts. So that was our solution. And I could see doing a similar thing, though, where you have your table with the numbers, but then a button that says, hey, click here and you can see the chart.
Oh man, I didn't know you were headed there. Yes, that is interesting. That is really interesting because that's very different than focus mode. Because focus mode obliterates everything else, but that way
Right.
you can just toggle. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
because I laid them on top of one another
yeah.
and just made one
Yeah.
invisible based on which bookmark mode I was in.
Yeah. So guys, I'm teaching. I don't know how it happened, frankly. I'm teaching along with Charles Sterling at Microsoft. I'm teaching a visualization course in at University of Washington here, and I don't know how that happened because I don't think I'm a visualization guy. I'm more about modeling under the hood. But anyway, I am. And the best part is that, of course, I go teach and share what I have, what I know, but I get to listen to Chuck and we call him guest speakers. And one speaker was talking about this. So just to pull everybody else in this conversation, so maybe who haven't read Stephen Few. So pie charts, if you were judging, and I don't have a good example because this one is a little bit clear to read. I mean, you can see bikes is big, but pie charts either require you to judge the angle, right? So like this is whatever 5 degrees, this is 20 degrees or something like that, or to judge the area. And we are terrible at both of those. It just, we're really bad at that, you know? And on the other hand, this one, and again, not a great example. Maybe I'll change this with subcategory. Let's try that. Or oh, got it. I'll change territory. Let's swap it out. Let me swap it out for a bit. Country, would that work better? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. So again, notice Germany and United Kingdom. I mean, you know, unless we label it, it's hard to say like how much bigger is France and Canada. And again, depending on the data, it can be really hard to tell. So humans are not good at that. But the length of something, this is what Stephen Few, I think he calls. So that one is, oops, I don't know what happened there. So length of something is actually processed in attentive processing, which is it's actually processed before it even hits our brain, which is kind of phenomenal. So this is something that I learned in the visualization class when somebody else was talking, that apparently, and this blew my mind, you can detect 2 pixels on the screen. A difference in length of 2 pixels, you can detect that, and pie chart doesn't even come close. So that's the general argument for not fans of pie chart, but of course, as we were all talking, it's kind of the reality. So Heather, yeah, you got an interesting solution. You're saying, you know, kind of overlay them and then have a bookmark which shows one versus the other. Let's just do it really quick. View, right? Did I get that right? Let's see. Show. Hey, you guys are on there, right? Just Heather, talk to me.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'm here. I'm
Okay,
trying to bring your screen back to focus.
Okay, let's
Uh,
see.
Yeah, you need to add the
Selection
bookmark.
pane. Yes. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna hide the pie chart, and this will be so bar chart, and then I'll bring that back and I'll hide this one. And of course, I'll link it with buttons on there. Right, so I'm not going to do that part, but essentially, if you click one button, you see bar chart, you click pie chart. I like it. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it kept me from needing to build 2 different pages for the same data because
Yeah.
they needed to change one chart.
Yep, really cool. I mean, a little bit of a cop out, if I must say, but hey, that's
well, yeah.
reality, right? I mean, you know, yeah, as you
Sometimes
said.
we have to.
Yep, exactly.
Remember, small company here.
Yeah, and hey,
We think we have to do what the customer wants.
that's true. No, yeah, that's good, and yeah, so yeah, this is good. I mean, this is makes sense. And again, I've done my fair share of pie charts. Gosh, guys, great discussion. Let me check in on YouTube. I think generally folks like the discussion that's going on. Okay, cool. So Abhishek, I'm trying to do this every Friday. No promises. I mean, best effort basis, but that's the idea. And yeah, we'll see. So guys, I'll share a little bit of a story. So some of you have heard it, but I think it's a good story, so it's worth hearing again. And this year, well, it's August already, but it wasn't a good year for me. And one thing I love about running my own business, and I work from home, is I say every day is bring your kids to work day for me. My son, he's 14 years old. He actually runs his own Instagram channel. It's kind of cool. He started his own Instagram channel around the same time when I started my YouTube channel. So yeah, we always talk about that stuff, yeah, so he kept asking me, he kind of checks in on me and say, hey dad, how's it going, and so forth, what are you focused on? And I said, I finally one day I admitted to him that I haven't been very focused. And so he said, well dad, why don't you pick one focus? And I said, well, but I got a lot of things. I mean, I have been doing this YouTube stuff, but maybe that's not where I should be. I should be on LinkedIn, and then maybe I should focus on kind of finance more or something like that. And I gave him like 2 or 3 options like that. So he said again, so dad, why don't you focus on one? And I again started like, well, you don't get it. It's kind of complicated. I have to pick the right path and blah, 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 blah. And then it hit me. And again, it took him to kind of clarify it for me, right? I was asking the wrong question. I kept asking myself how to pick the right path, Guys, if you're stuck somewhere asking that question, and I was stuck for a long time, you should realize that you need to change that. So instead of saying how to pick the right path, I had to change it to pick a damn path. That's what I needed to do. And so this was about a month and a half ago, and I picked YouTube. So since then, I have given it more of a focus. I hop online and of course, I would like more people to join, but we've had some great discussions today with Jen and everybody. So so this is kind of my focus now. And of course, I would say my number one focus is my kind of serving my students inside my Learn Power BI program. But kind of after that, it's this. So yeah, the plan is to hang out every Friday. So guys, I have to head out for a trip. So I live in Seattle, and we're heading out. We're taking a ferry ride to Bainbridge, and there's like a world famous ice cream shop over there. I don't remember the name. So that's the plan. We're gonna catch a ferry. It'll take probably an hour and a half to get there, but we're going there for ice cream. So I'll let's see. I'll say a quick hello. All right, cool. So I didn't see anything new on Facebook, so I'll sign off for this time. All my students, I'll see you Thursday, and of course inside our Facebook group. Yep. Thank you, Eamon. And otherwise, folks, I'll catch you around on YouTube next time. All right, power on.